Tiny Habits, the small changes that change everything. Written and published by United Sports. A single drop of water can carve through rock over time. A tiny seed can grow into a massive tree. A small flame can ignite a roaring fire. Change does not come from grand gestures or sudden transformations. It begins with the smallest actions, repeated consistently. This is the power of tiny habits. People often believe that success, happiness, or personal growth comes from major breakthroughs, but the truth is, everything great starts small. A simple shift in your daily routine can lead to unimaginable results. But the question is, are you willing to trust the power of small actions? Welcome to United Sports, where we bring you powerful lessons to help you transform your life. In this audiobook, you will learn how the tiniest changes can create an unstoppable force of progress. Every habit, no matter how small, holds the potential to change your mindset, your future, and your entire life. By the end of this journey, you will understand why the smallest actions matter the most and how you can use them to unlock your full potential. Most people chase quick fixes. They want immediate results. But have you ever wondered why crash diets fail? Why motivation fades? Why New Year's resolutions are forgotten within weeks? It's because the human brain is not built for drastic change overnight. Big changes create resistance. However, tiny changes slip past that resistance and rewire your brain effortlessly. That's why tiny habits are not just effective, they are life-changing. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't even think about it. It's automatic. That's the power of a habit. Now imagine applying that same effortless repetition to success, discipline, and self-improvement. Imagine if waking up early, reading every day, or exercising became as natural as breathing. This is not wishful thinking. It is the science of habits, and once you understand it, you will have the key to long-term success. Many people assume that making a difference requires drastic measures. They wait for motivation. They wait for the perfect moment. But the truth is, real change happens in the smallest moments of your day. A single push-up can lead to a daily workout. A single page can turn into a reading habit. A 5-minute walk can transform into a fitness routine. Every massive transformation starts with a simple, seemingly insignificant step. The secret behind tiny habits lies in consistency, not intensity. Doing something small every single day beats doing something massive once in a while. A person who writes one sentence a day will eventually finish a book. A person who saves $1 a day will build wealth over time. A person who practices patience for a few seconds in difficult moments will develop unshakable emotional strength. Tiny habits are the foundation of mastery. But why do most people struggle to create lasting change? Because they aim too high too soon. They decide to run 10 kilometers a day when they haven't even built the habit of walking. They try to meditate for an hour when they struggle to sit still for 5 minutes. They force themselves into extreme discipline, only to quit after a few days. This is where tiny habits make all the difference. When you start small, change becomes effortless and progress becomes inevitable. Now, here's the key. You must start so small that failure becomes impossible. Want to start reading? Commit to 1 page a day. Want to exercise? Start with 5 push-ups. Want to become more positive? Say one good thing about yourself every morning. The goal is to remove all resistance. Once the habit is in place, it will grow naturally. The most powerful thing about tiny habits is that they compound over time. At first, the progress is invisible. It feels too small to matter. But over weeks, months, and years, these small efforts create a massive transformation. Just like drops of water shape a rock, your daily actions will shape your destiny. In the upcoming parts, we will break down the mechanics of habit formation, the science behind how habits shape your brain, and the simple strategies to build life-changing routines effortlessly. But before we move forward, understand this. Change is not about taking giant leaps, it's about taking consistent steps. If you can master the smallest actions, you can master anything. If you found value in this lesson, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to United Sports. Your journey to transformation starts here. Now, let's move to the next part and explore how small changes lead to big results. How small changes lead to big results. Most people believe that big success requires big action. They think they need to make massive changes overnight to see any difference in their lives. But that's not true. Real, lasting success comes from the smallest daily improvements. A tiny step may seem insignificant today, but over time, it turns into something extraordinary. Success is not about speed. It's about consistency. Imagine a person who improves by just 1% every day. That doesn't seem like much, right? But over a year, that small daily improvement makes them 37 times better than where they started. This is the power of small changes. They compound over time and create unstoppable momentum. Think about a plane that takes off just 1 degree off course. In the beginning, the shift is barely noticeable. But over thousands of miles, that tiny difference will land the plane in a completely different country. This is how life works, too. A small shift in your daily actions will take you to a completely different future. Every great athlete, entrepreneur, or leader didn't start with big wins. They started with tiny, consistent actions that built up over time. Michael Jordan didn't become the greatest basketball player overnight. He practiced daily, focusing on small improvements. Warren Buffett didn't build his fortune with one big investment. He made thousands of small, smart financial decisions. Excellence is built through small habits, not giant leaps. Most people fail because they rely on motivation. They start with excitement, but when motivation fades, they stop. The secret to success is not motivation, it's habit. Habits keep you moving forward even when you don't feel like it. If you develop the habit of reading, you will gain knowledge effortlessly. If you develop the habit of exercising, fitness becomes natural. If you master small habits, success becomes automatic. A simple example is brushing your teeth. You don't think about it. You don't debate whether you should do it. You just do it. Now, imagine if waking up early, saving money, or learning new skills became just as automatic. Your success would be inevitable. Most people focus too much on the end result and forget about the process. They want to lose 20 pounds overnight instead of focusing on building a healthy lifestyle. They want to get rich quickly instead of developing financial discipline. But here's the truth. If you take care of the small steps, the big results will take care of themselves. The greatest advantage of tiny habits is that they remove resistance. Starting something new is hard because it feels overwhelming. But when you start small, there's no excuse. Want to write a book? Start with 1 sentence per day. Want to meditate? Start with 1 deep breath. Want to improve your relationships? Say 1 kind word each day. These actions may seem too small to matter, but they are the seeds of transformation. Think about a bamboo tree. For the first 5 years, it hardly grows above the ground. But underneath, its roots are growing strong. Then suddenly, in just a few weeks, the bamboo shoots up 90 feet. The same happens with small habits. You may not see results at first, but they are building a foundation for massive success. One of the biggest mistakes people make is giving up too soon. They try something new, but when they don't see immediate results, they quit. They start working out but stop after a week because they don't see a six-pack. They start a business but give up when they don't make money fast. But success doesn't work that way. Tiny improvements don't show up immediately, but over time, they create unstoppable progress. Here's the reality. Every action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. If you read daily, you cast a vote for becoming a knowledgeable person. If you exercise regularly, you cast a vote for being fit. If you practice patience, you cast a vote for becoming emotionally strong. Your identity is shaped by your habits. One small habit can change everything. A person who decides to wake up early may start reading, working out, or planning their day better. A person who starts saving a little money may develop financial discipline that leads to wealth. A person who starts practicing gratitude may develop a positive mindset that changes their entire life. Tiny habits create a ripple effect that transforms everything. Many successful people started with simple daily habits. Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day to reduce decision fatigue, allowing him to focus on creativity. Elon Musk reads and learns constantly, which fuels his ability to innovate. The best performers in any field don't just rely on talent, they rely on daily habits. Here's a simple strategy. Anchor your new habits to something you already do. If you want to start journaling, do it right after brushing your teeth. If you want to meditate, do it right after waking up. If you want to learn something new, listen to an audiobook while commuting. When you attach a new habit to an existing one, it becomes easier to stick with it. Another powerful trick is never miss twice. If you miss a workout, don't miss the next one. If you skip reading, pick up a book the next day. The key to success is not perfection, it's persistence. Missing once is okay. Missing twice is the start of a new bad habit. Consistency matters more than intensity. Here's the truth. Big dreams don't require big actions. They require small, daily progress. Every major transformation started with tiny steps. The greatest businesses, the fittest athletes, the most successful people, all of them started small. And so can you. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. Winners stick with their habits even when they don't see immediate results. If you keep improving by just 1% every day, success is inevitable. Your life today is the result of your past habits. Your future will be shaped by the habits you start today. The question is, what small action will you take right now to create the future you want? In the next part, we'll break down how to break bad habits and build good ones effortlessly. Breaking bad habits and building good ones. Habits shape every aspect of life. The things people do without thinking, the routines they follow daily, these small actions define their future. Some habits lift people higher, while others pull them down. Success, happiness, and personal growth are not about having extraordinary talent. They come from choosing the right habits and letting go of the wrong ones. Bad habits don't appear overnight. They start as small, harmless choices. A missed workout, a moment of procrastination, an unhealthy meal. At first, these actions seem insignificant. But repeated over time, they become part of a person's identity. The same is true for good habits. Every great athlete, successful entrepreneur, and disciplined individual began with one small action, repeated consistently until it became second nature. Most people struggle to break bad habits because they focus only on stopping the behavior. They try to quit smoking, reduce junk food, or stop wasting time on social media. But breaking a habit is not just about removing something. It's about replacing it with something better. Instead of fighting against old habits, the key is to create new ones that naturally push out the bad ones. Every habit follows a simple loop: cue, routine, and reward. A cue triggers the habit, the routine is the action itself, and the reward is the feeling it provides. For example, stress cue leads to scrolling social media, routine, which provides distraction, reward. To break the cycle, the routine must change. The cue and the reward can stay the same, but the new habit should replace the old one. Instead of reaching for the phone, a person could take a deep breath, stretch, or write down their thoughts. Over time, the new habit will take over. Small changes create lasting impact. Someone who wants to exercise more doesn't need to start with an intense workout. They can begin with just 5 minutes a day. A person trying to quit sugar doesn't have to eliminate everything at once. They can reduce one unhealthy choice at a time. The goal is not perfection, it is progress. One of the best lessons about habits is that identity comes before action. People often say, "I want to be healthy," but they still think of themselves as someone who struggles with fitness. Real change happens when a person becomes the habit they want to build. Instead of saying, "I need to read more," they say, "I am a reader." Instead of, "I need to wake up early," they say, "I am an early riser." When identity shifts, habits follow. The environment plays a huge role in habit formation. People who surround themselves with disciplined, hardworking individuals naturally become more disciplined. Those who spend time in negative environments find it harder to grow. The easiest way to break bad habits is to make them harder to do, and the best way to build good habits is to make them easier to follow. If unhealthy snacks are always within reach, eating better becomes difficult. If the phone is the first thing a person sees in the morning, distractions will control their day. But if books are placed where they're easily seen, reading becomes effortless. If workout clothes are laid out the night before, exercise feels automatic. Tiny adjustments in the environment can completely transform behavior. A strong reason is the fuel for every habit. People fail to break bad habits because they don't have a deep enough reason to change. A person who smokes may want to quit, but until they truly understand the impact on their health, their motivation fades. On the other hand, someone who connects their habits to a purpose, whether it's living longer for their family, feeling confident, or achieving a dream, finds the strength to stay consistent. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting for motivation. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes. The secret to lasting change is not motivation, but systems. Systems make habits automatic. Instead of deciding to exercise every day, a person builds a routine where exercise is non-negotiable. Instead of hoping to eat healthy, they plan meals in advance. Success is never about willpower, it's about structure. People often fear failure when building habits. They believe that if they miss a day, they have failed. But one missed day does not ruin progress, quitting does. The key is to never miss twice in a row. If a person skips one workout, they should get back on track the next day. If they overeat once, they should make a better choice at the next meal. Consistency is not about being perfect. It is about always coming back. Stacking habits is a powerful technique. Instead of forcing new habits into a routine, they can be attached to something that already exists. If a person wants to meditate, they can do it right after brushing their teeth. If they want to practice gratitude, They can do it while drinking coffee. By linking a new habit to an existing one, it becomes automatic. Bad habits thrive in boredom, stress, and distraction. When people are tired, they fall into default behaviors. The secret to breaking these patterns is awareness. Instead of mindlessly scrolling, eating, or procrastinating, a person must pause and ask, is this action helping me or holding me back? That moment of awareness can break years of automatic behavior. Tracking progress makes a huge difference. People who measure their habits stay more consistent. A simple calendar, journal, or checklist can create momentum. Every small win builds confidence, and confidence turns habits into a lifestyle. The best way to ensure success is to start ridiculously small. A person who wants to write a book can start with one sentence a day. Someone who wants to get stronger can start with just one push-up. It may seem too small to matter, but small steps lead to unstoppable momentum. One of the greatest lessons about habits is that the reward is not in the action, but in the person you become. Waking up early is not just about the extra time, it's about becoming disciplined. Exercising is not just about fitness, it's about building mental strength. Every small habit is shaping a future self. Everything in life comes down to habits. Success is not built in a day, it is built daily. Every choice is a vote for the person a person becomes. Each small decision, repeated over time, creates either a life of growth or a life of regret. The journey of breaking bad habits and building good ones is not about speed, it is about direction. A person who improves just 1% every day will see incredible results over time. Every action, no matter how small, has the power to shape the future. The only question is, what habits are you choosing today? In the next part, we will explore the science behind habit formation and why the brain works the way it does. Stay consistent, stay focused, and remember, small actions create massive transformation. The science behind habit formation. Every habit, whether good or bad, follows a simple pattern. It starts with a cue, which is a trigger that reminds you to act. Then comes the routine, the action you take. Finally, there is the reward, which is the benefit your brain receives for completing the habit. This cycle repeats until the habit becomes automatic. Understanding this process is the key to changing any habit in life. Small habits work because they follow the brain's natural wiring. The human brain is designed to save energy, which is why it prefers automatic actions over decisions. The more you repeat something, the less effort it takes. This is why driving a car, tying your shoes, or typing on a keyboard becomes effortless over time. The same principle applies to self-discipline, learning, and success. Most people fail at building habits because they focus on motivation instead of systems. Motivation is unreliable, it comes and goes. But a strong system creates consistency. When someone relies on motivation to wake up early, they struggle. But if they create a system, setting an alarm across the room, preparing clothes the night before, and sleeping at the right time, waking up early becomes automatic. The easiest way to build a habit is to attach it to an existing habit. This is called habit stacking. If someone wants to start reading, they can attach it to their morning coffee routine. If they want to do push-ups, they can do them right after brushing their teeth. When a new habit connects to an old one, it becomes effortless. Another powerful strategy is making habits easy. The harder a habit is, the more resistance the brain creates. If someone wants to start exercising, they shouldn't aim for an hour-long workout. They should start with 5 minutes. If they want to start journaling, they should begin with 1 sentence. When habits are small, the brain has no reason to resist them. Successful people don't have superhuman discipline, they have effective habits. They make good choices automatic. They create environments that support their goals. A writer makes sure a notebook is always nearby. A healthy eater removes junk food from their home. A productive person limits distractions. Success is not about willpower. It's about designing life in a way that makes good choices easy. The reason bad habits are so difficult to break is that they provide immediate rewards. Junk food gives instant pleasure. Scrolling on the phone provides quick entertainment. Procrastination feels good in the moment. Good habits, on the other hand, usually have delayed rewards. Exercise improves health over time. Reading makes someone smarter gradually. Because of this, people choose short-term pleasure over long-term success. To overcome this, one must make good habits rewarding in the present. If someone reads, they can reward themselves with a small treat. If they exercise, they can listen to their favorite music. If they finish a task, they can take a short break. When a habit feels good immediately, the brain reinforces it. Another powerful lesson is never missing twice. Missing a habit once is normal. Life happens. But missing twice is the start of a new bad habit. If someone skips a workout, they should make sure they do it the next day. If they forget to read, they should pick up a book the following day. Success is not about being perfect. It's about getting back on track as quickly as possible. Habits are also shaped by identity. People don't just act based on goals, they act based on who they believe they are. A smoker who tries to quit by saying, "I'm trying to stop smoking," will struggle. But if they say, "I am not a smoker," their identity changes and quitting becomes easier. When someone wants to build a new habit, they should not just focus on the action, they should focus on becoming the type of person who naturally does it. One of the most overlooked aspects of habit formation is environment. Willpower is limited, but environment is powerful. A person who wants to eat healthy should remove junk food from their home. A person who wants to wake up early should avoid using their phone late at night. A person who wants to be productive should keep their workspace clean. When the environment is right, good habits happen naturally. Another lesson is start before you're ready. Most people wait for the perfect time to begin. They wait for the right mood, the right schedule, the right motivation. But action creates momentum. The hardest part is starting. Once someone begins, their brain adapts, and it becomes easier. The key is to stop thinking and start doing. Failure is part of the process. No one builds habits perfectly. Everyone faces setbacks. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple: successful people don't quit. If they fail, they adjust. If they struggle, they find a way. They don't see failure as an end, they see it as feedback. Another powerful lesson is tracking progress. What gets measured gets improved. Someone who wants to drink more water can track their intake. Someone who wants to save money can track their expenses. Someone who wants to improve their mindset can track their gratitude. Seeing progress, even if it's small, motivates the brain to continue. The best way to make habits fun is to gamify them. If someone wants to stay consistent, they can create a streak. Marking an X on a calendar for every completed habit creates a sense of achievement. The goal is not to be perfect, but to keep the streak going. One of the biggest mistakes people make is overloading themselves with too many new habits at once. When change is overwhelming, the brain resists. The best approach is to focus on one or two small habits until they become natural. Once those habits are automatic, new ones can be added. Habits shape identity, but identity also shapes habits. If someone wants to be fit, they should not just aim to exercise, they should become the type of person who enjoys movement. If someone wants to be disciplined, they should not just force productivity, they should see themselves as a person who values structure. Change starts from within. The real secret behind success is compounding. Just like money in a bank grows with interest, habits compound over time. One small action leads to another, and before long, massive change happens. People often underestimate what they can achieve in a year with small, consistent actions. The journey of self-improvement is not about speed, it's about consistency. Every day is a chance to grow, to become better, to take one step closer to the life one desires. Tiny habits may seem small, but they hold the power to change everything. In the next part, we will explore how progress, not perfection, leads to greatness and how the 1% rule can transform any area of life. Keep going. The change has already begun. The 1% rule, progress over perfection. Progress is never about perfection. It is about getting just 1% better every day. Most people fail not because they lack talent or potential, but because they expect instant results. They set massive goals, push themselves too hard, and when they don't see immediate success, they quit. But true growth comes from the smallest improvements, repeated over time. A tiny step forward today may seem insignificant, but over months and years, it becomes the foundation of greatness. Think about a plane flying across the world. If the pilot changes the direction by just 1 degree, the plane will end up in a completely different destination. This is how small changes work in life. One small habit, practiced daily, has the power to change the course of your future. The 1% improvement may not be noticeable at first, but over time, it creates unstoppable momentum. The biggest mistake people make is focusing too much on the end goal. They dream of success but feel overwhelmed by the distance between where they are and where they want to be. Instead of focusing on the destination, they must focus on the process, on getting just a little better each day. When a person shifts their mindset from, "I need massive results now," to, "I just need to improve a little bit today," they remove pressure and create consistency. Great athletes, successful entrepreneurs, and the most disciplined individuals in the world did not achieve mastery overnight. They became great by making small, consistent improvements. A basketball player doesn't shoot 1,000 perfect shots in one day and become a legend. They practice every single day, refining their skills 1% at a time. Over months and years, that small progress turns into excellence. The same principle applies to learning. If a person reads one page of a book each day, it may seem too small to matter. But after a year, they will have finished multiple books. If someone learns one new word in a foreign language daily, they will know hundreds of words in a year. Knowledge, strength, and discipline are built over time, not in a single moment. The 1% rule is also the secret to building unshakable confidence. Many people wait for confidence before taking action, but that is a mistake. Confidence comes after small actions are taken. A person who starts speaking in front of a mirror daily, then in front of friends, then in small groups, will eventually develop the confidence to speak to an entire crowd. But it starts with a tiny step. Success is not about massive effort in short bursts. It is about small, daily actions that become part of who you are. A person who forces themselves to work out for 3 hours one day and then quits for a month will never see results. But someone who exercises for just 10 minutes a day, every day, will eventually transform their body. The key is consistency, not intensity. Many people fear failure. They believe that one mistake, one setback, or one bad day means they have lost all progress. But the 1% rule teaches that failure does not erase growth. If a person makes progress 90% of the time and has a few bad days, they are still far ahead of where they started. Success is about moving forward, not being perfect. One of the most inspiring lessons from this rule is that small, positive changes spread into every area of life. When a person improves their health just a little, their energy increases. When they improve their mindset slightly, their attitude towards life changes. When they become 1% more disciplined, they naturally become more productive. The smallest habits create the biggest impact. People often underestimate small actions because they want dramatic results. But the truth is, the things that change a person's life the most are usually the things they do every single day without thinking. Drinking water, reading a little, practicing gratitude, taking deep breaths in moments of stress. These habits may seem small, but they shape a person's character over time. There is one powerful mindset shift that can change everything. Focus on progress, not perfection. When people chase perfection, they hesitate, overthink, and get stuck in fear. But when they embrace progress, they take action, improve step by step, and eventually reach their goals. The reason the 1% rule works so well is because it removes pressure. A person does not need to be the best today. They just need to be better than yesterday. This mindset reduces stress and makes improvement enjoyable. It shifts the focus from an impossible perfect standard to simple, daily growth. Many people look at successful individuals and think they must have been born talented, disciplined, or lucky. But behind every successful person is a series of small, daily efforts that no one sees. They did not start as experts. They became experts through thousands of tiny improvements over time. This principle applies to relationships as well. A small act of kindness each day, listening attentively, expressing gratitude, offering encouragement, strengthens connections over time. Just like in personal growth, small, positive actions in relationships create long-lasting bonds. The 1% rule teaches patience. People today are obsessed with quick results, but real success is built through time and effort. A tree does not grow into a giant overnight. It takes years of slow, steady growth. The same applies to building skills, wealth, health, and wisdom. There will be days when motivation is low, days when improvement feels invisible. But those who trust the process and keep showing up, even in small ways, will eventually look back and realize how far they have come. Small changes lead to massive transformations, but only for those who stay committed. In the next part, we will discuss the biggest obstacles to building habits and how to overcome them effortlessly. The journey does not require perfection, only progress. Keep moving forward, one small step at a time. If this message inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to United Sports. Now, let's continue the journey. Overcoming challenges and staying consistent. Every great journey is filled with obstacles. No matter how small the habit, there will be days when motivation runs low, when distractions pull you away, and when you feel like giving up. This is where most people fail, not because they lack potential, but because they don't know how to keep going when things get tough. But those who master consistency, even in the face of struggles, become unstoppable. Habits are easy to start, but hard to maintain. Life will test your patience. There will be days when you don't feel like showing up, There will be moments when progress seems invisible. But real growth happens when you keep going despite these moments. The difference between success and failure is not talent, luck, or intelligence. It is the ability to stay consistent. Many people think they need motivation to continue. But motivation is unreliable. It fades. It comes and goes. Relying on motivation is like waiting for the perfect weather to go outside. Instead, discipline is what carries you forward. Tiny habits become powerful when you no longer depend on how you feel. You do them because they have become a part of you. The secret to overcoming challenges is to make habits so simple that skipping them feels harder than doing them. If your goal is to exercise, don't make it a choice. Make it part of your identity. You don't need to run a marathon. Just commit to putting on your workout shoes. Once you do that, the next step happens naturally. The hardest part is starting, and when habits are small, starting becomes effortless. Most people quit because they expect perfection. They think missing a day means failure. But that's not true. Missing once is normal. Missing twice is the beginning of a new habit, one of inconsistency. If you ever miss a day, don't overthink it. Just get back on track the next day. The longer you stay off track, the harder it becomes to return. One of the best ways to stay consistent is to remove unnecessary decisions. If you want to read daily, place a book next to your bed. If you want to drink more water, keep a bottle on your desk. If you want to wake up early, put your alarm far from your bed. Make success easy. Make failure difficult. The fewer decisions you have to make, the more likely you are to follow through. Environment plays a huge role in consistency. If you surround yourself with distractions, staying focused becomes impossible. But if you create an environment that supports your habits, success becomes effortless. A cluttered space leads to a cluttered mind. A toxic environment weakens your discipline. Protect your space. Design your surroundings for growth. Many people believe willpower is the key to consistency. But willpower is like a muscle, it gets tired. You don't want to rely on willpower alone. Instead, build systems. If you struggle with social media addiction, use an app blocker. If you forget to exercise, schedule it in your calendar. If you want to eat healthy, prepare meals in advance. Make your success automatic. One of the most powerful lessons about consistency is to focus on identity, not results. Instead of saying, I want to run every day, say, I'm a runner. Instead of saying, I want to write more, say, I'm a writer. When habits are tied to your identity, quitting feels like losing a part of who you are. This mindset shift makes all the difference. Success is never about massive effort in a single moment. It's about showing up every single day, even in small ways. A person who does 10 push-ups a day will be stronger than someone who does 100 push-ups once a month. A person who saves a little money every day will be wealthier than someone who waits for a big paycheck to start saving. Consistency beats intensity every time. There will be moments when doubts creep in, when progress feels slow, and when frustration takes over. But always remember this. Tiny habits are not about immediate results. They are about long-term transformation. The strongest trees take years to grow. The tallest mountains take centuries to form.